let's go into this article because I think, and again, I haven't read up on this, but, seeing the headline, I just, kind of guessed to myself, well, this is probably a school that is legit, but just, kind of inflated that, no, we got like 20 D1 prospects. They might have like maybe 2 or 3 at the most. Didn't expect this to be an entire controversy that it's played out to be since this thing has really kind of hit the fan. But awfulannouncing.com has a deep dive into this. Says we learned more about how Bishop Sycamore ended up playing on ESPN, and it's only getting shadier. Nobody wants to take the blame here, and kids are being put in danger. And this is by Ben Koo. Okay. IMG Academy's football team frequently blows out whoever they play. That's not surprising. IMG ranks as one of the top high school teams in the country. ESPN's own press release about IMG's game yesterday touted 9 top 300 players in their senior class, as well as 10 top 300 ranked juniors. So out the gate, you already see that a top ranked team has around 20 top ranked players on their team. So they've got damn near every one of their starters ranked in the top 300. They're absolutely stacked, making them a draw for networks like ESPN, looking to capitalize on the fanatical levels of interest in the world of college football recruiting. Given all that, it's easy to see why IMG played in the finale of the Geico Kickoff Classic, a series of 7 high school football games across ESPN networks featuring some of the country's best high school teams. You'd think IMG's opponent, Bishop Sycamore, would be of similar stature. That was very much not the case. IMG won 58-0, yes, but digging beyond the scoreline, we found things that are a lot more troubling than the talent disparity on the field. Bishop Sycamore is a team with very questionable origins and a ton of red flags. Worst of all, they had played a game on Friday night, raising obvious health and safety concerns. Now, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Even in the NFL, you play a game on Sunday and then have to go play again on Thursday. That is like stretching you to your limit. Like you are literally going into that Thursday night game and you have not recovered from the game before. Everything still hurts. Knees, ankles, shoulders, back, muscles sore. You're not you have to, practices are shortened. Practices are much lighter going into that Thursday game because you can't be expected to go through a full week of practice where you condense everything down into basically 2 days, and you can't go full go. So there is definitely a safety and a health issue and health risks in even playing 2 games in 7 days. But these are high school players. We're not talking about professionals here. They're not getting paid no money, and they don't have scholarships yet. So, wow. So how did they end up on ESPN? The network has been upfront in saying that all games for the Geico Kickoff are booked by Paragon Marketing. Paragon has been ESPN's partner on multiple events across different sports and high school programs. ESPN provided the following statement. We regret that this happened and have discussed it with Paragon, which secured the matchup and handles the majority of our high school event scheduling. They have assured us that they will take steps to prevent this kind of situation from happening moving forward. Of course, ESPN is not taking the blame for this. They are going to kick that thing down to the next one because shit rolls downhill, because now a lot of people have a ton of questions. So, of course, they're going to be like, wasn't us. But what would you expect? I mean, ESPN has seen themselves in a lot of very, very cringeworthy issues as of recent. I mean, I think we all know what those are without saying a word more. You feel like a company like ESPN wouldn't just allow a third-party company to do the booking and do the research. You expect them to do the research, I'm sure. I mean, they're a company that has a contract with ESPN. But ESPN themselves didn't even look into this before this event took place. Which, I mean, I guess that just speaks to how out of sorts ESPN's house is right now. Their house is all out of order. Rachel Nichols gone, Maria Taylor gone, Stephen A. Smith done took over the entire first take scene. It's wild at ESPN right now. I think that goes without saying. I spoke with Paragon president Rashid Ghazi last night. Ghazi said they would have canceled the game had they known that the same kids played earlier in the weekend, and they had held out hope that Bishop Sycamore perhaps fielded two teams with a split squad approach to the two contests. Wow, that is some dumb shit. That is stupid. Wow, dude. That's an incompetent thing to even like consider. So you're telling me you think that a high school football team has enough players to split their team into two teams and to field two different teams for a nationally televised game? I mean, I guess it's not a total stretch of the imagination, but no, that's an excuse you're giving us right now. That doesn't really fly. Unfortunately, that's not true. Both games are available online. Damn, so they did play two. Okay, here we go, down here. Wow, okay, this is gonna, hey, buckle in, boys. Buckle in, because this is gonna get wild. This is gonna get wild. Buckle the fuck in. Whoo, all right. Bishop Sycamore had the same starting quarterback both games and frequently had players with the same numbers in the same alignments in both games. Coach Roy Johnson admitted as much this afternoon in an interview. Oh my God, they interviewed the coach? Are you crazy? You allowed that? Oh, they got it out of there. They got it out of there. My God. It gets worse. A lot of these players played both ways in both games. Jeez. Meaning these kids had one day of rest after playing offense and defense before doing it all over again against maybe the most talented team in the country. That's unconscionable, of course, but it gets even worse. How? Bishop Sycamore's Friday night game was played against Stowe Rocks and for now can be found on YouTube. Okay, you know what? We're going to take a quick look. All right, so they're both wearing black? What is going on here? Okay, so Bishop Sycamore, they're winning. Okay. Oh, well, never mind. God damn, why they doing this to him?
Bishop Sycamore fumbles the ball deep in their own territory, and Stowe Rocks recovers it. And they're going to have the ball deep in the Sycamore territory here at the...
Okay, so we're in the third quarter. It's still 7-7. So, hey, okay, for 1 second here, we can look at this. And we can see that these guys, I mean, Stowe Rocks must not be that good because this is a tie game. Okay, now it's 13-7 and 19-7 starting the fourth and 19-7. I mean, they competed in this game at the very least, but you got to think about how much of a drain this has to be. I mean, they played a full game on Friday. And then they played again a few days later.
Here in Western Pennsylvania,
yeah.
Teams look like the pass is up. And it's caught by a receiver.
Oh, that was his helmet? Oh, man, what kind of helmets they got these boys in, man? Come on now. These commentators are just seriously like, they have no idea what's going on. They're just calling it like they see it on Sunday. What is this, a QB draw? Okay, this is nonsense.
This is the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Snap is up, it's taken.
Who's blocking for this kid? He got the first.
First down, cuts up inside.
Okay, I mean, hey.
Head for the first down. Gotta get this.
If this quarterback makes something happen, hell, he should get a scholarship just cuz.
Tillman is taking a long time to get this snap off.
What the hell just happened? Oh, no.
Tillman took a long time to get the snap off and fumbled the ball, and that's the ball game. Turnover and downs.
That's appropriate. That's actually appropriate. Wow. The game was played just outside of Pittsburgh with Bishop Sycamore losing 19-7. Both the news write-up and the game scoreboard named Trillian Harris as the starting quarterback for Bishop Sycamore, the same starting quarterback for Sunday's game against IMG. Although Harris would switch numbers between games, he has the same red face mask. Oh, man. What? Harris would leave the game after suffering an injury on Sunday, something that happened to a few Sycamore players. And that's where the problem lays, in that you've got players who are playing in a full 3-hour game, and then you have them come back 2 days later. I mean, that's a faster turnaround than a Sunday to Thursday night game. And I mean, the NFL at least tries to set the game. They're setting the game at night so that you're getting the most time possible to rest. Like, you are getting as much as they can possibly give you to rest. The game doesn't start till 8:30, 7:30, whatever it may be on Thursday night. So you get Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night to recover. This is clearly something that should have never happened. And I mean, hell, one could consider that it could be criminal. I mean, there could be an abuse case here, a child abuse case here, because, well, maybe not. We'll see. Because until we know exactly where these guys even came from, because they're not a real high school, this is wild. Okay. That's indicative of another thing viewers picked up on Sunday. It looked like Bishop Sycamore had mismatched helmets and potentially not enough helmets for the entire team. That's despite the roster being reported to be very small, just 30 to 35 players, hence the two-way participation. A week ago, Bishop Sycamore posted a GoFundMe campaign seeking $20,000, which they've raised under $200. The description of the campaign below, unedited on our end. Yes, now this is what I want to hear. We are Bishop Sycamore, a new football program getting established in Columbus, Ohio. That doesn't even make sense. We play a national schedule, which is ranked 4th in the nation. We have, we have gathered young men from all over the country in the pursuit of a similar goal. We currently need your assistance with helping these young men achieve their goals and inspire other young men to do the same. It takes a community to raise a child. Please be that community and help these young men. Please help us with funding, team meals, travel expenses, and equipment costs. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter @_Bishop Football. I'm tempted. I'm tempted. Ooh, okay. There's obviously a lot of shadiness here, but one thing is true. Bishop Sycamore does indeed have the 4th toughest schedule, according to Max Preps. How the fuck did that happen? How did that happen? They have multiple games scheduled for now. Yeah, that's gonna change quickly against various national powerhouse programs. Who? How? I think that just kind of goes to show that the lack of like oversight by the actual groups that put these schedules together. Are they just picking names out of a hat and putting them on a schedule? Are they speaking to these teams? Are they getting like rosters sent to them? Are they getting proof that they're being recruited? Proof that these players have actual have an actual status within a high school anywhere? Where's the proof for all of these teams that bring in these players? Because for all we know, if this team, with as shoddy a job as they did in trying to scam themselves into this tournament, into this kickoff classic, if this team can do it, what about other teams or other groups that have enough resources to actually literally put together a team of JUCO players, nice uniforms, fully equipped, with good coaches, with talent, and they're not a real high school, and they just go and just start drumming every one of these national powerhouses? How do we know it hasn't already happened? How do we know there aren't players who haven't gotten scholarships off this kind of thing already? Guys who literally faked their way into a college scholarship. It's funny because I actually have a story about that and someone that I know who actually did that in baseball. They actually got a scholarship to a division, a Division II baseball team from Japan to the U.S. and had never played baseball before and got a scholarship. That's a story for another day, though. Friday's game also seemed to suggest Bishop Sycamore might not have any away white jersey. Both teams played in black, which obviously makes it hard on spectators and even the players themselves to tell teams apart. Below is an illicit YouTube upload of the IMG game. That's been pulled. Comparing both games, you can find usually more than a handful of Bishop Sycamore players at the same position lined up with the same number on any given play. How does this game not only take place but make it on national television? ESPN claims they sounded the alarm to Paragon weeks in advance when they couldn't learn anything about Bishop Sycamore's roster, depth chart, or even just any general information about the school. Bishop Sycamore allegedly bailed on a conference call. They allegedly bailed on a conference call with ESPN days before the game before providing a fact sheet of information on Sunday claiming multiple players had major D1 offers from power programs. ESPN could not verify any of this information and felt they were scammed. You think? That feeling permeated the broadcast, including this viral exchange that saw Anish Shroff acknowledging reality. It came after a long weather delay with the game already out of hand and Bishop Sycamore coach refusing to allow for a running clock.
Bishop Sycamore told us they had a number of Division I prospects on their roster. To be frank, a lot of that we could not verify. They did not show up in our database. They did not show up in the databases of other recruiting services. So it's okay. If that's what you're telling us, fine. That's how we take it in. From what we've seen so far, this is not a fair fight. And there's got to be a point now, Ludes, where you do worry about
I'm sorry.
I already am worried about it. I think it's this could potentially be dangerous given the circumstances and the mismatch that we have here. And quite honestly, Bishop Sycamore doesn't have not only the frontline players, but they don't have the depth in case something would happen to their roster with maybe a kid or two here throughout the remaining 2.5 quarters of this football game.
A reporter at the game shared the following with me. Their roster was very small, 30 to 35 players would be my guesstimate. And they have a bunch of injuries over there over the course of the game, which makes sense that they're playing for the second time in 3 days. Yeah, it does. Shroff and Tom Luginbill, how do you say that, called the game remotely, and to their endless credit, were very critical. The game on Twitter, in addition to, were very critical the game on Twitter in addition to that moment on the broadcast. Early on, they were getting clean hits on quarterbacks on every play, Shroff told me. There was clearly a player safety issue. Now, let's see. We have a tweet here from Anish Shroff. Says, sorry, they had no business being in that game today. None. I feel bad for the kids. Players' health and safety was at risk today. I was uncomfortable for anyone who watched. And this is Prep Gridiron Logistic. Says, all of the top high school football programs in Ohio were given the opportunity to play IMG today. Bishop Sycamore was the only one to step up. So what does that mean? Everybody else knew what they was getting their ass into. That's clearly what that means. Stop defending the state of Ohio and start giving kudos to @Bishop football for their courage. See, now this is the garbage that you don't want to have to hear from a company like this, Prep Gridiron. This is garbage. You don't clearly give a damn about these kids, with there being the fact out there that they played 2 days before this in a 3-hour game that really kind of came down to the last quarter. And you're going to say, stop defending the state of Ohio and start giving kudos. Start giving kudos. This isn't even a real team. You're an idiot. This did not age well, and it's only a day old. For their courage, so brave, so courageous, so brave. Oh, I want to see a 30 for 30 on this in the next 12 months. They got to have a 30 for 30 on this. They need to have the coach. They need to have the quarterback that got hurt. I want to see a full-blown 30 for 30 on this shit because this is ridiculous. Woo! All right, let's keep going. That takes us through the broadcast. But the big question, should Paragon, ESPN, and IMG have known better? There's going to be litigation about this. I am 100% certain. There will be litigation about this in the near future because ESPN, Paragon, and the coach of Bishop Sycamore are going to be, they very much should be brought to account for this because a lack of due diligence in all the way through the pipeline on this allowed for this to happen. When you got that roster that only had 26 players on it, that should have been a red flag. When ESPN was on a live Zoom with these guys a few days before the event and they bailed on them, that should have been a red flag. When Paragon could not find any statistics in any recruiting databases about Bishop Sycamore, that should have been a red flag. You ignored all of that and allowed this team to play in 2 games. 2. In 2 days. Child endangerment. Well, wait. What am I saying? These are 20-year-olds. These are 20-year-olds. So, actually, still, you can flip that around and say child endangerment. I mean, because they're 20-year-olds playing against high school students. Okay. Yeah. Bishop Sycamore went 0-6 last year by a cumulative scoring margin of 227 to 42. What? So they played last year too? That includes a 56-6 loss to IMG. Oh, so this is the second time. What? Apparently, that wasn't enough to put IMG off playing them again. IMG was like, shit, hey guys, we're going to get us another little warm up. While most parties involved seem to be distancing themselves from this fiasco, a Twitter account for Prep Gridiron Logistics has been extremely active on Twitter defending the game. Yeah, we got to go take a look at these cats now because now I don't want to hear this shit. There have also been a few message board accounts using very similar language and reasoning in an effort to prop up the legitimacy of Bishop Sycamore as a school and a football program. This must be the coach. It's got to be the coach. It's got to be the coach, right? It's got to be. I brought these teams together at the request of Paragon and ESPN. Bishop Sycamore has more than one team. Okay, the Prep Gridiron Logistics website states the following. Member programs seeking 2021 games. PGL recently announced a relationship with Flow Sports that will see many of these teams play each other throughout the season, with those games streaming on Flow Sports. Who are these companies? Like, what? The quote at the end of that release cites Joe Mamoni, managing member of Prep Gridiron Logistics. Paragon offered the following when asked about their role in the Bishop Sycamore IMG game. The 2 schools verbally agreed to play each other in May. PGL recommended Bishop Sycamore, but was not involved in contracting or organizing the game. Sometimes PGL may schedule a matchup that we pick up for TV. They're usually in the business of helping teams find national matchups, not actually organizing the games. So they were just a middleman who just made the connection, made a phone call, made a 3-way call, put them together, then they figure out the details. But, I mean, something about this PGL is not really adding up to me. Paragon also stated they've never worked with Bishop Sycamore in the past, nor do they have plans to in the future. When asked if they were aware of accusations made towards the program of the coach's history at other schools, Paragon said they were not. Here we have a tweet. This Bishop Sycamore story is absolutely wild, man. Putting a bunch of overmatched high school kids in danger of serious injury against far superior athletes for what? $1? Who would do that? Look at this response. Look at this response. Bishop Sycamore has double-digit D1 recruits on its 2021 roster. They fear no one. And they're the only team in Ohio that stepped up and accepted this exciting challenge to play the number one team in America in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They should be lauded today, not maligned. We got to pull you up, homie. I need to see some okay, this is exactly what I thought. 626 followers. Let's see. You got a website here? Let's see your website. This is a basic wiki. What is it called? This is I forget the name of the style. I know how to make a website like this in literally 10 minutes. Look at this website. Are you shitting me? Should I call them? F in the chat if I should call them. They got 5 minutes. 5 minutes until they close. Calling they ass. I'm calling these mother cluckers. Joe Mamoni.
You have reached the voicemail of Joe Nemo. Unfortunately, I'm not available to take the call at this time. Just leave a short message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much.
Hey, Joe, this is Dexter Charles calling from Dallas, Texas. Wanted to give you a call. Needed to talk a little bit about situation that you guys have with Prep Gridiron Logistics. Would love to actually get a moment of your time. May have a team that I want to see if I can get scheduled for a matchup this year. So please give me a call back on this cell phone number, and I'll speak with you soon, buddy. I'm going to call him again. All right, so he's clearly not answering that. But, I mean, look, this company, Prep Gridiron Logistics, they're clearly a scam. This is a scam of, the third degree. I mean, high school football is a booming business from traditional hotbeds, Texas, California, Florida, Ohio, blah, 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 blah. This is all literally a scam. Says, Prep Gridiron Logistics will act as your personal concierge for identifying, contacting, and scheduling elite, nationally relevant, out-of-state high school football opponents. The cost for these vital services, free. To learn more about PGL, please register with us today. Something tells me that at some point in this process, you're going to be paying him some bread because he has his personal cell phone number on here, which clearly that's mistake number one, Joe Maimon. And these guys are sketch as a motherfucker. This is sus as hell. This is super sus. He's letting everybody's calls go to voicemail right now. Hey, he has been getting his ass blown up. Let's see. There's got to be somebody who's posted on here today. Oh my God, this matchup has it all. Ohio versus Florida, power prime. Hey, that was you who set up Bishop Sycamore. You sure you're not scamming? All right, let's get back to this article. I mean, are we being serious right now? Look at this. They've actually got some legitimate, I don't think there's any verified, but there's legitimate high school and maybe potentially, some level of semi-pro or whatever, high school football Twitter accounts that follow this guy. Unbelievable. Issues of Bishop Sycamore go back to prior to the 2020 season. In 2019, multiple games were canceled for either not providing a roster to organizers, Boom. There you go. You don't provide legitimate information, legitimate data. Teams aren't going to want to, they're going to be like, no, we're not going to do it. Not booking hotel accommodations or opponents discovering the team was using players who were older than the high school players. Here we go. Another Twitter. Bishop Sycamore's game against Mainland, Florida in 2019 was canceled because Sycamore didn't supply a roster to the Freedom Bowl and didn't make hotel reservations in the 30-day window because they had no money, because they weren't a real team, because they weren't from a real high school. A couple weeks later, Bishop Sycamore, youth blind, was scheduled to play against Youth Build. Bishop Sycamore Youth Build was scheduled to play against Point Pleasant in West Virginia, but Point Pleasant canceled the game after they allegedly found multiple players on Sycamore who were over the age of 18. However, after recent weeks of research, ESPN, weeks of research, and upon obtaining a team roster on Monday morning, Price said he was able to determine that Youth Build reportedly had at least a handful of players who were born in the year 2000 that had also exhausted their high school eligibility. In learning of this information, Price terminated the contract with Youth Build, which means the Big Blacks will be on their third bye in 5 weeks of the regular season gridiron action. They haven't met the obligations of the contract. In doing research, they have kids that are either fifth year or 19-year-old kids on their roster and team. By our state rules, we cannot participate in a game that has a fifth year or 19-year-old kids on their roster and team. This is information that we didn't find out until this morning. I had a hard time getting the roster from the school, which finally showed up on Monday morning. I called several times last week for the roster, but it didn't show up until today. I mean, these are just all the telltale signs of a situation that literally should not be allowed to continue to move forward. Yet somehow these guys ended up on national television. Let's keep going. I'm sending them a tweet. Oh, he's calling me. Here we go.